when you look at the levels of competence, so you have unconscious incompetence, you have unconscious competence, and then you get to the level of conscious
unconscious competence.
Unconscious competence. You have all these different levels, and everyone's going to be at some point. And this is a terrible way of thinking about it, but it's the way I think about it, like training a dog. Like if you get your client's a puppy, and if they have a massive level of unconscious incompetence, like they have no idea why they're fucking up because they have low nutritional literacy. Sometimes you got to put the choke collar on, you got to put a really short fucking leash on. So they may have to weigh and measure everything because they just simply don't understand how much energy is in the food they're eating. Like they think they're eating 1,200 calories, but they're actually eating like 2,000 because they're not measuring anything. So for a lot of clients that we do, we'll have them weigh and measure everything, at least initially, so that they understand like, holy shit, like fucking 50 grams of grapes, that has more energy than I thought, and it's a lot less food than I thought. So they have to get to a level where they can look at a piece of food and go, okay, is that 100 calories or is that 500 calories?
Okay, sorry.
Oh, just one real quick before I forget. Here in Australia, you guys love your sauces, and that's where a lot of people fuck up there. They add sauces, all this shit, and they're like, well, it's just a tiny container of sauce. Well, that tiny container of sauce is 250 calories. But you're also a product of how you train. So if you're a woman and you train with higher rep schemes because of that offset, you get better performance the way you train it. So like I'll give you an example. When I was still a competitive powerlifter, I had a buddy of mine who could bench 405 about 12 to 15 times, but he couldn't do 425 once. And he told me that. I was like, no way, bullshit. I mean, this is like 20 years ago. I'm like, no way, let's go to the gym. So we put 405 on the bar. I get maybe 3 or 4. He pumps out 15 solid reps. We put 420 on the bar. He lowers it down, completely staples his ass. But he only lifted in that 10 to 12 rep range. That's what he constantly did. He never lifted heavy. So that's how his specific training adapted him in a specific way. And it made no sense to me because you look at like one rep max continuum, it doesn't make any sense. Well, I created. Funny you ask. I created a system of that years ago. We call it backloaded structural balance. So what we found, I found that people who, let's say you did a front squat. I like front squat as overhead squat, front squat's great metrics for mobility, flexibility, and strength. Much more than back squat because you can lever up a really nasty looking back squat, but there's less room for error with an overhead or a front squat. So let's say I have somebody do a front squat and it just looks like shit. What we would do is a lot of PNF and crack stretching and weighted mobility movements up front, and then put your squat at the end of the workout. But what I found was we could pre-fatigue everything. They'd be weaker on the squat at the end, but their squat looked better, and they could squat without pain. And then so we would do that for a period of time. Then we moved to what we call front-loaded structural balance. So we move the squat to the beginning when you don't need all the prep work to do the squat, and then you move all the stretchy stuff and the weight of mobility to the end, and then eventually you transition out of that into normal periodization, more specific periodization for like strength or hypertrophy.